Are you excited about Christmas? Well, that's good. I am too, but I want to tell you a story right now about the wise men. We like the story about the wise men in part because they saw this star that went across the sky, and it led them right to the place where Jesus was. But let's go back in the story, because they were a long way away from where they needed to be, and they had to travel. Do you think that maybe they took a helicopter to get to where they needed to be? Or maybe they took a plane and flew across to get all... How do you think they traveled? You think they traveled by camel? Maybe they traveled by... We aren't sure. If they didn't have camels, then I'm sure they walked along in order to get where they needed to be. By the time they got over to Israel, where that was, there was this big hill that they had to go up, because Jerusalem's on the top of a hill. They had to go up that hill, and when they got to the top, they went to see the king, King Herod. And they said, King Herod, we have a question for you. We want to know, who is this king that's been born the king of the Jews? Well, do you think King Herod was happy? You might have heard this story before. He was not very... If he would have looked in the mirror, he would have seen a very sad face, because he was not happy. And so what he did is he called the scribes, and he said to them, could you please tell me where we can find the Christ? Well, the scribes knew how to find the answer because they went to the Bible. And in Micah chapter 5, verse 2, it told them that this king would be born in... Oh, you guys heard this story before. They would be born in Bethlehem, and he would be the shepherd of his people Israel. When the wise men heard that, they were very excited. And so maybe they went with their camels, maybe they walked, but they went the 6 miles down to Bethlehem. And when they got to Bethlehem, was Jesus in a manger? No, he wasn't in a manger now, because it's a little bit of time has gone by. Now we find out that he was in a house. And when they came into the house, the Bible says that they found Mary. Does that look like Mary? Yes, it does. Come on, play along with me. That looked like Mary, and they also saw the baby Jesus. Now, maybe Mary was holding baby Jesus, or maybe by now Jesus could sit up, because, well, babies can sit up at 6 months. We don't know exactly how much time went by, but the Bible tells us when the wise men came in and they saw baby Jesus, they bowed down and they worshiped him. Maybe they jumped up and raised their hands too, I don't know. But the Bible says that they bowed down and they worshiped him. And when they worshiped him, then they wanted to give him gifts. We think there might be 3 gifts that they gave. The reason we think 3 is because we know there's 3 gifts. That's why we think there might be 3 wise men. Maybe there's more than one, because maybe there were 2, because it's plural, wise men. Maybe there were 3. We don't exactly know how many wise men there were. Maybe there were more than that. We don't know for sure. But what happened was they opened their presents. Now, do you know what the presents were? What was the first one? Gold. What's your name? What's your name? Sam. Good job, Sam. You know a lot. Opened the first one, it was gold. What was the second one? Oh, that's the third one. What's the second one? What? Frankincense. That's good. And what was the third one? Myrrh. The next thing that happens in the story we read is that the wise men, they went to sleep. I think it'd be hard for them to go to sleep. That's right. The angel told them not to go back. Sam, you could come up here and tell the story, couldn't you? Well, and so when they got up in the morning, they said to each other, we had a dream, didn't we? And the dream says, do not go back that way, same way. We should go a different way. And so they got up, and maybe they rode their camels. And if they didn't, maybe they walked along, and they went back to their home. Now, we like this story. One of the reasons we like the story about the wise men is because of the star. Another reason we like this story about the wise men is because of the gifts that they opened up. But the most important part of this story is that they bowed down and they worshiped Jesus. Do you know that every one of us, when we worship Jesus, that does something very important to us? In fact, that's the most important thing that we could do, is we come and worship Jesus, because when we do, it does something to our hearts, and we have Jesus then in our hearts. And that is the true meaning of Christmas.